3.18 Lightning Arrow Leaguestarter Refresher. Quick consolidation video to make you ready for Leaguestarter. Alright, let's get into it. So, Ada is asking, if I'm playing this build for the first time, can I run it on hardcore stuff if I do not know the limitations of the build? My recommendation is, don't do it. Unless you're okay, up to having a challenge. If you're okay with the challenge, go for it. But generally, if you're learning this build for the first time, I'd stick to softcore. And then Michael Raven's asking, yo, can we get priority lists, Atlas passes, etc., etc.? Well, you're in the right spot. That's what we're working on right now. So TLDR summary from before, because the passive tree has not changed. All of our 3.17 videos, they are viable, they work, they're great, they're awesome. They will get the job done and turning you into a gamer that can play Lightning Arrow at a very high level. So we have Roa or Lightning Arrow for leveling, Roa up to Act 5 or further if you want to, and then you go Lightning Arrow at Act 5 or Act 10. Again, up to you, right? Non-crit early. That's my recommendation. You farm low maps, you blast, expedition, essences, just like all that type of stuff. Just spam all the content, right? Well, basically essences and expedition though. That's how you get the big gear. And obviously harvest and some Jun. Then you set up your crit, try to get a lot of damage, ideally 1 million plus. If you really want to take your time, try to get 2 mil, and then you're gonna have a real positive gaming experience, especially when you're calling Searing Exarch. Because hey, they are changing the Omniscience drop rate. We don't know what it's going to be. It could be like 10 kills. It could be 20 kills. It could be like 50 kills till you get your Omniscience, right? So you want to just be strong AF. You want to be as strong as possible when you are in the Searing Exarch blasting phase. And then, all right, you got the amulet, GG. Now you go craft the gear. Craft the gear, get your attribute, just scale it up as high as you can. All right, attribute crafting is done. Well, now you win. You want now. Now you get to play the game. You get to do whatever you want now. You can blast XP. You can do bosses. You can do Uber bosses. It's really up to you. I'm not gonna tell you how to play the game. You play the game however you want. Yeah. So I got some PoBs in the description. These are from the other videos. Yeah, I won't talk about these too much. The PoBs are pretty basic. You got the non-crit PoB, and you got crit swap, and we have our crystallized omniscience swap, right? I have a Lightning Arrow playlist also linked in the description. I'm not gonna tell you to watch all the videos. If you want to, you can. But you're probably not. So recommended watching is the Lightning Arrow Deadeye build update 3.17 PoE. This little thing here. Recommended sections, the first like kind of 11 minutes, just generally talking about the early game, crit swap, gear and general discussion, link discussion. I also got some Atlas tree stuff in there. I try to put a lot of information in the description of all these videos, so even if you don't want to watch them, just just read the descriptions, right? Just skim them real quick. Generally is a lot of info there. Leveling, again, Universal Act 5 or Rain of Arrows to Act 10, and you can do a Lightning Arrow swap at Act 5 or Act 10. Or you can play Galvanic Arrow, up to Act 5 or Act 10. Again, it really is up to you. I have like a ton of bow builds, ton of bow VODs that you can watch, and you just, take your pick. Just literally take your pick, whichever one you want. Literally pick the skill that you want to play, right? How to use these videos. My recommendation and what my friend found successful for them was to basically watch an act, play act. So, watch Act 1, play Act 1. Watch Act 2, play Act 2. If you're unsure, just like I always have PoBs. I always put the full PoB in the description of all the videos, so you can figure out the links. You can figure out, okay, I need like this much damage and this much HP to have a comfortable time in Act 5 Katava, this much damage for, Act 10 Katava. It just turns on the video for what type of PoB you're gonna get. But, if you watch Act 1, just watch it, take notes of, the things you need to remember, and then just do it. And then that's how you kind of like internalize that rep, right? And if you're having trouble remembering, then just like read your notes a couple times, right? Or do more runs, right? But one run generally will be enough, right, for like an okay performance, right? You're gonna lose time probably to just maybe not optimize your links, maybe not crafting a bow, or you're messing up layouts, right? But honestly, if you mess up some layouts, it's okay. It's not a big deal, because like you mess up layouts, get more XP, right? It's fine. It's fine. No copium. It's fine. You're not speedrunning here. You're just trying to have a great time gaming, right? So I wouldn't worry about it. Atlas, I got 2 recommended videos for this one. So I have my solo one. This is a while back, right? Oh, actually, on this note, you can write the routing run here. Actually, reading the description of this video is honestly a good refresher, give you guys some good ideas to think about. I would recommend reading the description here. But this 13-hour, or I guess 10-hour video here, but it's a 13-hour Eldritch boss run, part 2. It's basically, this is my first run. It's probably like, it's also kind of routing run, wasn't my best run, but you'll learn a lot there. But I actually think you'll learn more from my group play run, which is a 5-hour Eldritch boss run. The tree was a lot more optimized, the grader was a lot more optimized, the Atlas tree was a lot more optimized. That I have a support in this run. So I'm expecting if I was to do this run again solo, I think I could get a I want to say like 7 to 9, give or take, right? Give or take, maybe less. It just depends on how fast I get, right? Like, so a little bit of RNG there, right? A little bit of RNG in that aspect. So that is basically all you need to know so far. But what's changed? Well, we've got a couple changes, right? So as I mentioned, Omniscience drop rate changes. So you gotta farm fast. Right? So in 3.18 patch notes, rebalance the drop weightings of new Pinnacle Atlas bosses, change the relative drop weightings of their unique rewards, and make them more likely to drop outage currency. You know? That kind of sucks. So we don't really know how many Searing Exarchs we're gonna have farm. Could be a lot, could be like hardly any, right? You can't straight up boss rush. That was another change. So you can't rush to the boss. You actually have to find the mob in the map that has a guaranteed map drop. So you might need to juice a little bit more, right? So I have some Atlas trees later. I might not have put enough juice in them, aka like extra content. So you might need some extra content in them. Keep that in mind. Archnemesis modifiers. That could honestly be really scary. Like that could be really scary, or it could be trivial. You know, some may hard counter the character, right? If they haven't changed them, such as Vampiric. That's kind of leech, right? That sucks. That sucks. Like leech, kind of hard counters the build unless you have like a mana pot or something, right? But then you can't have life leech, then you got to rely on a life pot. It's probably fine in maps, but like, you know, in a extended boss fight scenario where somehow that mod shows up, then, you know, it's gonna suck. I'm sure there's like some combos too, which I believe is what Chris said in some podcast, that, you know, it's unlikely for single modifiers to be scary, but the combos will be dangerous, right? So keep that in mind. And based off that, Headhunter inspired learning rare mobs, right? Because, you know, rare mobs are different now. Can we still blast XP super hard, you know, for the endgame blasters? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Like, it's just maybe, right? We don't really know until we play. I'm leaning towards yes. I'm leaning towards we're still gonna be able to blast, but I don't know. Abyss jewels, you don't really need them for Omniscience setups, but like you might be a while till you get it, so it's just something to consider. They're also a lot more acquirable, so just think about it. Put in, you know, in the back pocket of your mind. Dance of Destruction, 25% more monster damage, 25% less monster life. So this is a really great softcore progression node. Scary and hardcore. I mean, this build was already scary and hardcore, so I'm gonna talk or speak in a softcore perspective here, right? I'm like 100% taking this in softcore, right? Because we're already playing one shot the mobs or get one shot ourselves, right? We're honestly not that squishy. We're gonna have like over 10k armor, you know, like 20k evasion, stuff like that. You know, a little bit of like 4 or 5k like pool. Pre like, you know, mitigation numbers and stuff like that. So it's not that bad, but like honestly, I'm probably taking this early on, especially when my gear sucks. This might help, you know, bypass things such as like the red map wall, right? This very commonly happens on like almost all builds. You hit a wall when you're reaching red maps because your damage just isn't there, right? This might be a way to fight against that. Potentially. And I'll see. I'm doing hardcore. Wellspring of Creation, it's just hard to justify, right? Because damage is so hard to get in early game bows. It's kind of like a late game blasting option, right? But like, if you're in softcore, like you probably don't need it. Like honestly, it's like you're just gonna one shot everything. So like, why make one shotting harder? And then like, but like in hardcore, right? If you're hardcore blasting, then it's a decent option, definitely. Uber bosses that you need to mention, you know, there's 7 of them in this patch, right? They might be difficult with the Ultra Gator. Like I don't know how hard they are. Do you know? Like I don't know. Who knows, right? No one knows how hard these bosses are. So I would not suggest going in blind into hardcore with this build until, you know, you get more information or you learn more, right? Yeah, just keep that in mind. A new Atlas customization. So basically, once gearing is done, aka you have your Omniscience set up, map blasting is just a lot better this league. Better meaning, you know, more customization, more juicing, which basically means more XP per hour, just more fun, right? More blasting rates. That's really great. However, it is worse in regards to boss rushing, right? So when you're doing boss rushing strategies, you kind of have to full clear the map now, or just have enough juice, or maybe you have to like optimize your gameplay. It's like, all right, I'm doing some blasting now. I'm gonna build up my map base. Okay, now I'm gonna do some bossing. I'm gonna deplete my map base, right? I still want a boss rush, right? So maybe you can do like a combo strategy like that. So just stuff to think about. Suggested Atlas trees. Let's get into this. So I break them into 2 parts, into the I want to gear up stages and the I got my basic setup going. Let's farm some Searing stages, right? Because what you do after this is, again, it's like, it's up to you, right? I'm not telling you how to play the game. You play the game however you want, right? So tree number 1, we basically have connected maps, we have essences and Jun. And let's look at it. This is our 71 point tree. Again, it's literally just all the connected map drops here. We rush the essence nodes, and then I take the keystone, a stream of consciousness, just to have, you know, even more essences. But it's really just around like just building up our essences and crafting, you know, our early gear. We're honestly trying to craft a bow here, right? Your main prowl right now, like when you're getting into maps, is crafting a bow, right? So we take this, and then, you know, I can't just block all the other content. You might not need to block all the other content. You can just ignore them. It might save you some points. And to set up your tree earlier, you can also just take less connected map drop nodes, right? Something to consider. And hey, if you're not progressing up to super high tier maps right away because you don't need to, then, you know, shaping of the mountains is also something to consider. Same with shaping of the skies. So in our next two trees, the next tree, we add a harvest, and then we add a harvest and shrines, right? So I want to note on our very first tree, I actually have Jun for 3 points back here, or in 2 points in this tree, just because we want to start generating missions earlier, right? Because it's very important to get a Gravicious Craft later on. This is what I would do. So in our next tree, I got my Jun still. I got even more Jun, got Bribery, because we really want to get the Gravicious Craft. Gravicious Craft is gain 9 to 10% of life as extra maximum energy shield. This is what makes our Ghost Stance, very nice, very strong, very good stuff, right? And then also have a little bit of Harvest here, Sacred Grove. Then obviously we take off the blocking harvest thing, or maybe you just never took it in the first place. We try to craft really good, try to craft more suppression gear, right? So remember, suppression gear is easier to roll on evasion items. It is harder to roll on hybrid armor evasion items. So keep that in mind depending on how much you want to craft, right? You might have to burn a lot of essences if you try to craft on hybrid items, but however, hybrid items generally are stronger, right? Because getting armor and evasion generally is great, right? Because you don't have too many sources of physical mitigation. Your main source of physical mitigation will probably be D-Term and a Granite Flask. Like that's it. And 10k is probably enough for the content you want to do, but late game blasting, sometimes you want more, right? So do keep that in mind. So what you can do is maybe start with crafting on evasion gear to start. Go like, okay, now I'm progressing to even harder content late game. Let me switch from my evasion items to like maybe some more armor evasion items, right? Maybe wait till a 6-link, we can talk about cage map, 6-link farming, all that stuff later on. So what's next? Next we got the Harvest Jun Shrine. So this is our final three here, for final tree, and it's basically just adding a little bit more, right? Just adding a little bit more, just filling out the harvest, just like trying to get all as much as we can. You can get a little bit more here. Some dynamic things I want to talk about actually are Harbinger, Kirok missions, the level of map nodes, and the ball zones, right? This can all help you get Atlas set up. By that, I mean getting points, right? So, 101 points. Some of you guys might say, yo, that's a lot of points, Havoc. Can we cut this down? Well, yeah, you can cut the shrines. I put the shrines in because it's just for fun. But if you want to help get your points quickly, you can take the Harbinger nodes. That is a good idea. The other, the Kirok nodes are also great. And then, plus level maps, you can also, take these, right? Shaping of the valleys, shaping the seas, and obviously these Kirok nodes, there's Kirok nodes everywhere. This is how you get a lot of missions, a lot of maps, Rise and Orbs. That's how you just get the number up really quickly, right? And of course, always make sure you have the appropriate damage. You don't want to be doing like a completion map and spending like 10-15 minutes in there. That's not fun, right? So try to get honestly 700k 1 mil plus when you're doing your red completions, right? You might not need to do your red completions, but I would kind of recommend it. Again, you can also drop your adjacent map drop bonus depending on how much juice you have, how your sustain is going. I mentioned these vol nodes. Again, they are good for generating vol orbs early on. So that's pretty much it. It's just for the vol orbs, right? Yeah. And then the lab nodes, they're decent, right? It's honestly something to consider if you want to get your Uber lab done ASAP. And if you're pathing up this way, maybe doing some Harby stuff, then it's just an idea, something to consider. Personally for me, what I would do is I would probably do my essence stuff, and then I'd do some harvest stuff, and then I think I'll utilize Kirok missions and maybe normal Harby drops. Actually, let me think about this. No, I would not use Harby actually. I think I would just use the connected adjacent map drop bonus. I would use the adjacent map drop bonus to fill my Atlas. So I would literally open up my Atlas tree and go like, okay, I need this residence map. This residence map is T13 connected to like this, I don't know, cage map or something. I'm making up these maps right now. I don't have the Atlas, in front of me right now, but so then I'd run some cages, right? Because cages is connected to residence. Again, it's not actually what it is. It's like totally different in game, but you run the connected maps to get the maps you're missing, right? That's how you do it. So I think this covers our trees, and again, they'll also be linked in the description. And as I said, you can unspec connected map bonus or higher level of map tiers set up earlier. Again, that is these nodes and these nodes. That's it. And then you want to blast yellow maps fast. Just trying to blast yellow maps fast. Go, go, go. Zoom, 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 right? That's basically the plan here. That's the tech. Because you just want to get as much crafting materials as possible. I mentioned abysses earlier. They're a lot more acquirable now. This can help you with gearing. Boxes. Boxes are a great way to craft up to 6-links, right? Especially because you are blasting maps super fast. I don't know if you've been listening or not. If you're listening, you probably heard me say blasting maps zooming 25 times already, right? I don't know how many times, but something like that. This is how you get your 6-links. You actually have a decent chance The only downside here is you probably won't get spell suppression on it, which will make life kind of tough. But this is mitigatable since as a ranger, we do have access to actual spell suppression nodes. So it's not too bad. It's not the worst problem, right? And then expedition, this is, it's up to you, right? It's very, you can make a very good bow, like 800, LE DPS bows, if not higher, combined with harvest and stuff. You can make some very nice items. And honestly, if you can make an expedition item and then upgrade it with harvest, you honestly have a very strong understanding of the crafting systems of PoE. You're in a really good spot, right? You're in a really good spot, right? So expedition is it's honestly notable. It's honestly notable, right? And you're not too far from it, but I like to have expedition on the tree, We're quite close to expedition nodes up here. We're literally beside Hunt for Answers, and we have Ancient Writings and Distinguished Demolitionist. They're not too far away. They're in a pretty nice area. I also want to talk about the Valley of Darkness. So this mod might be ultra rippy. It technically is more XP, it's more loot, but it might be ultra rippy. So test this if you want. I don't know. I'm probably gonna take it late game once I'm strong, but maybe I don't take it when I'm not strong, right? You just gotta you have to understand the limitations of your character, right? I don't know what the new limitations are, right? Maybe it's fine, maybe it's not. So again, another thing to think about here for your early game blasting and setup. Final tree, which is I got a base setup going. Let's farm X amount of Searing for crystallized omniscience. So we have, connecting the maps, Searing, essence, and shrines. I mean, just essentially we block all the other league mechanics. So that's what it looks like. Very simple. You get the Searing nodes. This is the main node here. Baptized by fire. Your maps have 10% chance to award double progress towards encountering the Searing Exarch. This is very important because you might have to farm like 50 Exarchs. I honestly don't know. It could be 10, it could be 50. It's like you need to be blasting. This is why we have like no league mechanics in our maps right now. We just have nothing. So I'm assuming your gearing is already done. You have an appropriate gear level to blast these red maps ultra super very fast. Again, fast. This is all about being fast. Your bow build is about going fast and just deleting content in front of you, right? That's why we have shrines. Shrines. You get maybe some acceleration shrines. Maybe you want to wear a gull. You probably want to wear a gull early on and just really blast super hard. This is my advice to you. That is what I would do. I would honestly do something like this. We have very high connected adjacent map grab bonus, and that would honestly help us. Just blast super hard because you don't always want to be full clearing maps. You kind of just want to go to the boss and dip. You just want to go to the boss and dip. If we're not sustaining, then I'd have to look into adding more juice somehow. Juice meaning other league content to then, build up a pool of maps and then burn the pool of maps. Then build the pool of maps, burn the pool of maps. We'll have to do some strategy like that. So that is the Lightning Arrow Leaguestarter refresher video. I have all these atlas trees in the description. I will link these 4 videos, and again, if you want to see other videos, you can see the playlist yourself. The PoBs are in the description. TLDR, got it here. Again, also in the description. If you have any questions, just let me know. Ask away. I'll try to reply to them before league start. And yeah, hopefully this video helped you. Hope everyone has a great league start. And yeah, that's about it. Have fun, guys. Peace.